my previous video, I showed you how to make this simple glued tear-off notepad from leftover paper scraps. Today I'd like to take this idea one step further and turn it into a refillable hardcover notepad case. The best part is that once the paper pad is empty, you can simply replace it with a new one and continue using the cover. It's a practical little project and a wonderful way to get even more use out of paper leftovers. Hi, I'm Joanna. Welcome back to my missredfox paper art channel. It's all about bookbinding and paper crafts for beginners here. For this project, I'm using 2mm thick cardboard, 2 pieces of 10 by 17 centimeters, and 1 piece for the spine of 0.8 by 17 centimeters. Decorative paper, 2 pieces of 11.5 by 20 centimeters. Cardstock for the end papers and for the pockets, 1 piece of 16.5 by 21 centimeters. For the refillable pockets, 17 by 10.4 centimeters. And for a small pocket, 18 by 9.5 centimeters. A piece of book linen or book cloth. This is 3.3 by 20 centimeters. A finished tear-off notepad. This one is 8 by 15 centimeters and has 50 sheets. Then you'll need some elastic band. This one is 23 centimeters and 2 eyelets, or you can use 2 pieces of ribbon of about 20 centimeters each. Then you'll need glue and a brush, a hole puncher and eyelet setter, a metal ruler and a blade, a bone folder, a pencil, some tool to score, and something to draw circles, or you can use a large ball. Some scissors and double-sided tape. This one is 0.5 centimeters wide. The notepad that I'm using is 8 by 15 centimeters, so the same size as the one I made in my previous video, but this one has 50 sheets. And you can easily adapt the measurements to your own project. Of course, the thickness of the covers, so this spine, depends on how thick your notepad is. So this one is about 0.8 centimeters and this one as well. And you have to consider the thickness of the boards too and the hinges. So this is why the gap between my boards, for example, is 1.3 centimeters in total. And I use a 2mm thick cardboard, but we'll come to that later. I've already cut my boards to the size I need. If your notepad has not the same size as mine, add 1 centimeter to each side of the notepad to get the cardboard size you need. So if my notepad is 8 by 15 centimeter, these boards are 10 by 17 centimeters each. And the size of the cardboard spine depends, as I said, on the thickness of your notepad. And add a bit to it and then you should be good to go. I have to admit that I made these several dummies until I liked the result that I wanted. And I rather work with open spine bindings like the Coptic one or the Japanese one, which don't require a cardboard spine and hinges, so I'm not so experienced with this kind of covers. But you can learn from trials and errors, and I think it's a good thing to do that. Just try and make mistakes and learn from them, and then get the result that you want eventually. I will tell you about these two a bit later. Because this is a refillable cover, I wanted the boards to be a bit larger than the notepad itself. This helps protect the pages and gives the finished project a more polished appearance. First, we will build a hinge. I tried to make one of these without book cloth for the hinge, so only with 1 sheet of paper, but that doesn't last long and it's already broken a bit here because paper tends to tear sooner or later and book cloth is much more durable for hinges. So I can only recommend using book cloth or book linen for the hinge if you can. First, I will divide the book cloth. I will draw a line 1 centimeter from each long edge, parallel to the edge. And then I will glue my cardboard on it. So since this one is 3.3 centimeter wide, I have 1 centimeter here, 1 centimeter here, and 1.3 centimeters here in the middle. Now I will glue the cardboard pieces on both sides and this thin one in the middle. So apply glue here and here and a bit in the middle. And try to center this vertically. So you have 1.5 centimeters on both sides, here and here. And the other side. And now I will apply glue here and place this centered between the two boards. I will glue these turn-ins and use my bone folder to attach it properly in place. Start with the gaps here and then the sides, and then here on this side. And take your bone folder and work a bit in the hinges. And here as well. And check whether this closes properly. If the boards are too close to this spine, they won't be able to close properly because the board has thickness itself. So this is why you have to leave a gap here, and this one, as I said, is 0.8 centimeters, and the whole gap between the boards is 1.3 centimeters wide. Now I'll cover the boards with decorative paper. This is one of my favorite parts because it's where the project begins to feel like a real book, and you can use almost any paper you like here, from handmade papers from Japan or Nepal to decorative scrapbook papers or even to wrapping paper like this one. But it should not be too thick, and you should pay attention to paper grain. I have a whole video about paper grain, by the way, and its directions, so I'll write the link in the description if you need more insight on this. I will start by applying glue on the cardboard and then glue the paper on it, because it's always best to start gluing with the thicker material, so in this case the cardboard, because it has more time with the dampness of the glue until it starts warping, and thinner paper would warp immediately. So glue the boards first and then apply the paper on them. And I want glue on the book cloth, only the cardboard, and from the interior to the exterior. And this is PVA glue. I made it a bit thinner with water because it was too thick when it came from the bottle. So like this. And then these are my two pieces of paper. As you can see, I cut them from one larger one. And this one is the front cover, and it goes here. And now I will apply a bit of glue only on this thin edge here, to have something over the book cloth as well. You glue that part over the board and book cloth, and it should overlap the book cloth but not the hinge, so no here. So just a bit near the hinge, parallel to the spine and the hinge. And then take your bone folder and flatten it properly. And then repeat the same on this side. Now we can glue the turn-ins, and we'll start with the long sides. But before I glue the edges, so the turn-ins, I will cut the corners. If I don't cut them, I will have too much of a material here, the corner, it will be too bulky. So I will take one of my DIY corner jigs. And this is a 2-1, so it's for a 2mm board. And I cut the corner here. I cut the corners so I don't have too much material, and you need about 3mm between the corner of your cardboard and the paper edge. And I use this DIY corner jig, and I have a whole video to the topic on cutting corners and how to build a jig in the description. And now you can glue the turn-ins, and we'll start with the long sides, sorry, these ones. So just a bit of glue here. Sorry, not on the book cloth. It's very hot today, about 40 degrees, and yeah, can't think very straight. And then on the other side. And then push those little corners to the inside and apply glue here. Fold and glue this over. I will now attach an elastic closure, and it will keep the cover closed when carrying the notepad in a bag. But if you like a different look, so without an elastic band, you can skip the elastic band closure completely and add 2 ribbons instead between the covers and the end papers. But elastic closure allows you to open and close the notepad cover much faster, and this is why I would recommend it. But to glue the 2 ribbons, if you decide for this option, you will just take your ribbons and glue them with a little bit of double-sided tape here and here, so at the middle of these edges, and then glue your end paper over them. So first you have to see what your back cover is. So this would be my front cover. So this one is the back cover. And for an elastic band closure, I will punch 2 holes here close to the corners of the back cover, about 1 centimeter from each edge. So first I will draw my markings. Here and here, and then I will punch 2 holes. Then I will insert the elastic band, so it has to go over the front side of the notebook. So the short bit goes to the inside here. Start with the upper hole. So insert it a bit here, about 2 centimeters or so, then an eyelet over it, and then take your eyelet setter and close the eyelet. And the other one, now I have to pull a bit and see that you get the correct side of the elastic band. Like this. Just see that it isn't too loose or too tight. So back here. And now pay attention not to punch with this one through the band that you want to keep. So hold it a bit apart and then close the eyelet. And now this is finished. I will now glue the end papers. You could cut a bit of one layer of this cardboard to hide the elastic band into it, so to deepen its position, but for now I'll leave it like this. And first I will apply glue on the boards and then on the edges of my paper. And I will start only on the board, not on the paper here. From the inside to the outside, the spine as well, and in the gaps. And see that you have glue really on every square centimeter or square inch of your boards here, because otherwise you would have air bubbles when you glue your end paper over it. So now it's enough. And this is my end paper, and I will apply glue only on the edges. And I will start in the middle, position it more or less centered, but start in the middle. Start to attach it properly in the middle. Because you have the hinge, and if you glue this first, it can be that you have too much tension on the paper in the middle. But if you start in the middle, then it will arrange itself over the cardboard cover properly. So one hinge first, and then the other. And then to the outside. It's a bit more difficult here at the eyelets, over the eyelets and the elastic band. So take your time and check if this works. Yeah. For this one, for example, I don't use book gloss, and I didn't use a strip of cardboard here either. And it's okay like this, but if you see, it has much more of a movement, and it's not so durable and stable. This is why I made the one with the strip here in the middle as well. I will leave this one a bit to dry, and I could put it in my book press, but I use this one. I made myself. It's actually a brick, and I have a video on this too. So it's not wide enough, so I will use both. And in the meantime, I can make the pockets. To hold the notepad in place, I will make a pocket with a bit of a depth. I tried using banderoles first, so one here and one here, but I really didn't like how they look like and the solutions, and they wouldn't have lasted long, so it's a pocket now. To make it a pocket, just take your 17 by 10.4 centimeter piece of cardstock and fold its top edge by 2.5 centimeters first. So this one is 2.5 centimeters wide actually, so I can use it to fold as well. So fold this, and then I would cut a bit of those corners away so it folds even better. And now apply a bit of glue here, and you can use double-sided tape or this kind of glue, it doesn't matter. This creates a smooth and more durable edge for inserting the notepad backing. Now I will apply double-sided tape, 0.5 centimeters wide, on those long edges. And don't peel the backing off yet. Now I will score directly next to those strips of tape to form and fold the flaps on both sides. Then fold these to the outside, and again here, and then it looks like this. Now I will score about 3 millimeters to the inside, parallel to the edge, and this creates the depth of the pocket. And then fold this to the other direction, so from the outside to the inside. And then the others to the outside. And now it looks like this. We have a little bit of a depth and these flaps here, or folds. Now we can apply tape on the lower part of the pocket, so not on the one with the folded top. And I will remove this one a bit. And here as well. And I will apply tape over the whole width here, including the folded flaps. Now I can remove the tape backing. So we have glue here, here, and on the lower part. I have my cover here, and put the elastic band to the back and see where your folded edge is here, and now you can glue this here in place, centered on the back cover, 1 and 2. And you have your pocket with the depth. Next we'll make a little pocket for here. For that I will fold the remaining piece of cardstock in half, open it again, and apply glue completely on the surface. So either this one or the liquid one, but for this one I prefer this. Roller glue, and then close it again. Glue on my table. So we don't use only one layer but 2 layers like this, and it makes the pocket more durable like this. So now I have this one, and I will take my tool. I don't even know the English name for this. Circle drawer. And measure my width here. Pierce in this corner and draw a circle, or a part of a circle. Then cut away the top like this. Turn it over and apply double-sided tape on these sides. And if you're wondering what this is a tool, with little teeth here, like that I bought online by Craftelier. This is a shop in Spain, I think. They have a lot of crafting tools and materials, and it's quite good to peel off the backing paper or foil from double-sided tapes, and I love it. So now we have glue here on both edges, and we can just place this one here, and you have a little pocket. You can put some notes or papers or tickets or even your card in here. Now that the cover is finished, you can simply slide the cardboard backing of the notepad into the pocket and write on it and use it, and then remove it easily once it's full. This means that you don't have to make a new cover every time you need a new notepad. So this is the finished refillable hardcover notepad case. I really like projects like this because they're practical and sustainable, and the paper pad can be replaced whenever necessary, while the cover can continue being used for a long time. It's a small project, but one that turns simple paper scraps into something durable and useful, and you can also offer it as a gift. In the next video, I'll show you how to make a small Japanese step-bound notepad from paper scraps like this, so stay tuned. Thank you so much for watching, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Feel free to like and subscribe if you like this tutorial, and stay tuned for more bookbinding videos. Happy crafting!